Yes.
Let's do it. Greetings and welcome to the Art of Rising, where we are exploring transformation, leadership, and conscious visionaries changing the planet. I'm proud to be with this sister. We had an interview in the early days, and now we're back again. She's super motivated. She's into all kinds of things. And wow, I just allow her to explain all that. So, sister, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself and tell us where you're living and all that good stuff.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Omar, for having me back. I'm so excited. I really enjoyed our previous conversation. Can't wait till what we get into here. I live in North County, San Diego. I am the founder of Living for Liberation. It's all about supporting the liberation of self, systems, and society through coaching, workshops, series, keynotes, all the things. And I'm also the director of liberation at the High Tech High Graduate School of Education.
Mhm.
What else can I
Yeah,
share?
I
I'm a
know. Like,
lover of
what don't you do, right?
I'm a lover of life. So I just anything dance related, stage related, spoken word poetry, karaoke, give me a stage. I want to be on it
Right,
doing something.
right.
So
Yeah, that was another
yeah.
thing I learned about you too. You were like, "Oh, Latin music, my thing. Salsa, bachata, merengue." I was like, "That's
Todo,
me.
todo.
That's me."
You know I was dancing at Benito Bowl. Like
Oh wow, wow, wow. That's what's up. That's what's up. It's beautiful. It's spicy. It's the spice of life. Okay, so yeah, let's jump right into it. Why don't you bring us back when you first started? That way people get to know you a little bit when you were growing up. How was it? I mean, we all go through these dark times and rough patches. If you're open to it, please, Dr. Michelle Sadrena Pledger, can you share with us some of this good stuff?
Sure. As we talked about in the first episode, but we might have new listeners since then. I
Mhm.
grew up with a ton of internalized depression. My father was a crack addict, so he abandoned our family for about 5.5 years. And so it was a difficult time for my mom to raise my brother and I, but by the grace of God, he did get clean. He came back. They worked on their marriage and they were married for almost 50 years before my mom passed in 2022
Mhm.
of cancer. And my dad, he has done everything in his power to make up for that absence. We were just at Red Lobster actually
Mhm.
last night
Mhm.
or the night before last, just having our own Valentine's Day together because
Ah,
that's where we
beautiful.
meet in the middle from where we live. But as a result of how I grew up, growing up poor in the beginning, and then my parents like eventually continued to work on building themselves up to the middle class. But I went to predominantly white schools that facilitated me growing up with a lot of internalized depression, not wanting to be black, thinking white was better, all the things that took decades to dismantle, all those limiting beliefs and the not enoughness that came with that. But all of that is what shaped me into the human I am today to be able to support other people. And we touched on it together in our last episode about how both of our experiences growing up has put us in positions to be of service to other people who have experienced something similar because we have that knowledge and that way of being to support them.
Yeah.
So I'm
You,
blessed.
that's beautiful. That's wow. It's sometimes we have to go through these things, and I remember one of my teachers, Guru. He was given up for adoption and passed from house to house, and there was abuse and all that, and then he was on stage, telling people, and he said, "Oh, all that was perfect. It was perfect." I was like, "Wow, how could that, you did this?" Yeah, yeah. See, because one of the reasons is that I used to go to the AA meetings, and inside of these rooms, sometimes the person who was facilitating it, one of the questions that would come up, we would ask them, "Have you ever had a drink?" You know? And oftentimes they will go, "No, I haven't." I'm like, "But how you going to tell me then?" You see, you reading it in a book and you're giving me all of this book knowledge, but you don't know what it is to be yearning and hurting for these substances and stuff. So,
Yeah, that lived experience of the self, right, is equally, if not more important than that learned experience on the shelf. So I
mm,
completely agree.
what did you feel was the thing, or was it a series of things that got you out of that, you know, that mindset and that environment that you said, "Oh, there's more out here."
It was education for sure. When I decided to become a teacher, that's I worked at High Tech High Graduate School of or worked at High Tech High K-12 schools, and we get to design our own curriculum there. It's a project-based learning school. And once I was in charge of designing curriculum and I was teaching US history and American literature, I learned so much more that I had not learned in my own K-12 upbringing or in college about not only my history, but Black and Brown history, Asian history, all kinds of things, because now I was in charge of it. And I wanted to make sure the young people that were in my care were getting a
Mm,
much more diverse learning than I received. But I didn't know that learn the term, and we touched on this last time too. I didn't know the term internalized oppression until I was getting my doctorate. I hadn't heard that term, but I was
mm.
reading the book Courageous Conversations by Glenn Singleton, and that's where I learned that there was a term for what I had grown up with.
Yeah, yeah. Thank goodness that there's people around here paying attention and recording. Because if not, we would just be like, "Oh yeah, you got yeah, that's just you." Yeah, no, it's like no, 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 this is not me, you know.
No, this
And I
is
need some help, and I need to get out of this because how could you keep going like
yeah, there
that?
was a lot of community, a lot of learning, a lot of unlearning, to be honest. A lot of it was just unlearning what I
Mhm.
had been taught by media, by
Right. Mhm.
teachers,
Mhm,
by even
mhm.
friends and family members about
Right. Mhm,
my cultural identity and my enoughness. So I'm excited to
mhm,
be in this place of
mm.
constant, continual liberation every day for myself
Yeah.
and hopefully with
Mm.
other people as well.
Right, right. I always think of like my parents too, like some of the things that they taught me. I was like, wow, now I know. I go, but that was they didn't know that it was good. No, they didn't know. They didn't mean no harm by it either. And often it's the loved ones, like you say, they keep you back, like, oh, be careful, don't do that. And they don't mean to hold you back. It's just they love you and they don't want you to suffer in any way. So, well,
Exactly. They're doing the best they can with the information that they have at the time. And as our information and learning and knowledge changes, of course, we realize, oh, I could have done some things differently.
mm,
But it shouldn't be a place of like blame or shame. It's just
mm.
we talked about it's just it
Right.
is.
It's just
So
the isness. That's
the
it. Yeah.
isness of things.
That's it. That's a hard concept because again, we're indoctrinated like dogs, right? Like Don Miguel Ruiz. I always quote him on that one. But we don't know. We just don't know. And they tell us like, oh, that's good, that's bad, that's right, that's wrong, when it's not really like that. So it's a hard concept for us to grasp. Some things are dark and evil, that's true, but a tree is not bad and a kid is not ugly. And like, no, come on, man. This is going way out.
Yeah.
It- so you spoke about the dismantling belief system. Now, this is a huge one. What do you think, in your opinion, is some of the things that are deeply embedded in people that they have to first dismantle before they start growing?
Yeah, the belief that learning ends, like, it just never ends and growth doesn't end. I really think one of the most attractive qualities that we can have is humility. Like, I struggle with myself because God blessed me with to be good at a lot of things. No, I'm just kidding. But it's so important to come into spaces with curiosity instead of judgment. One of my favorite invitations or agreements when I'm working with a group is the agreement to seek to understand. We're seeking to understand the content that we're covering together. We're seeking to understand one another as we're in this space together. But most of all, we're seeking to understand ourselves because our learning never ends because we're constantly becoming, constantly evolving, and the world is constantly becoming and evolving. So we never, in my humble opinion, we never run out of learning. And learning is life. I love learning to do new things. Even though I speak Spanish and I speak conversational Japanese, I still study both of those every single day because I can always get better. I can, always learn more. Even, I'm a dancer, but I just was in a class on Monday for a different style that I haven't learned yet, and I want to grow in that area. Last night I was in an Afro-Cuban class learning a style called Ogun, which is like this warrior goddess. So all of that, like I just feel like learning is living, and that's probably why I'm never bored.
Right, right. That's beautiful. I love it. And you're speaking on things that take quite a bit of courage too, you know?
Mhm.
So where is it that you find yours? And then how do you share it with others too.
Whew, where do I find my courage? Well, I'm a woman of faith, so definitely I feel like a lot of it is God given, and I think when I'm working with other people, especially institutions who are trying to find their courage, or they are maybe lacking innovation because of a lack of courage. I don't think it's necessarily an individual's problem on their own and saying like, oh, they don't have courage and that's why this institution is not innovating, because it typically is also a systemic problem, right? If that individual is operating in a system that doesn't allow for courageous thinking or risk taking or experimenting or action research, right? Which I thankfully at High Tech High Graduate School of Education, I'm in a space that is very liberatory. So it actually fosters courageous thinking. So it's not, if people are in a place where they are not safe to fail, then it's going to be hard to innovate, really challenging, because there's a lot of fear involved, and you don't want to lose your job, or you don't want people to think about you a certain way. So also, if you're in an oppressive space, that takes up a lot of brain energy, emotional energy, even physical energy. If I have to have my guard up to monitor my words, my tone, my behavior, that doesn't leave us with a lot of energy to innovate or be courageous or be creative, right? So I believe that's an individual. Individuals definitely have agency over their ability to be courageous. But if we're
Mhm.
talking about institutions and systems, we have to tackle it at systems level as well. So a lot of my work
Mm,
is always thinking about like the
mm,
self, the interpersonal, right? And then the
mm,
system. So yeah, but my courage
mm.
definitely God given, and
Right, right.
life given.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Courage is just one of those things that if you're not in that environment, I think of different systems around the world. Like they have some models that are like beautiful and like, why aren't we doing this? Like simple things like in the workspace where I seen this one in Asia where they switch jobs every like half hour or hour. Everybody's doing something new. They're learning about the other system, about the other job, and like I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. Let's try that one. Instead,
That's awesome.
they got you doing this one thing, and then go ahead, or 8 hours or 15 hours, and so it
Yeah,
could
that's
be,
not, how can innovation and creativity breathe
yeah,
in that space of,
it
like,
cannot.
monotony?
It cannot. It cannot. But
Yeah.
some of these environments are resistance to change. And then here's a person like you coming along with these leadership, skills and I want to say rituals and habits, for them to grow. So, how do you introduce some of these things to these environments? When they're resistant. Because I'm sure they'll be like, "Yeah, come on in." Then when you get there, they'll be like, "Oh no, we don't do that here. Sorry."
Yeah, and I mean, especially in this current environment, right, where many people are resistant to change. Even if they wanna change, there's a lot of fear involved in our current political situation. But I first would say that design work needs to be done in that environment, because it sounds like the entire ecosystem needs some support. So when I'm working with organizations, it's about identifying the ways in which an environment is oppressive, not only to ideas, but to the very people working within those organizations, and
Mm.
then being able to liberate that system or that environment in some way while simultaneously liberating the people within it, right? Because it's all interconnected. If we're
Mm,
saying that a system is reluctant to change, well, people make up that system. So we've got to work in and on the people in the system to
mm,
figure out what that resistance is, to get them liberated as we're also
mm.
liberating the institution. So that internal work, that self work, that mirror work, as we call it,
Right.
is so important, but it also needs to be happening at every level of the system.
Do you feel that they're avoiding some of these conversations or they're open to it?
Oh my gosh, there's so much avoidance, and that's why systems
Mm,
often don't change. There are many spaces where I'll come into, and it's just a culture of niceness. People actually don't want to say the thing. They don't want to be considered either like difficult, or they don't want to speak out of turn, or they're just honestly, many people are uncomfortable with conflict because they haven't had the experience of generative conflict. And so when we're working with people to engage in generative conflict, it's creating agreements of like, how are we going to engage in conflict, actually having protocols and approaches and opportunities and space to do so, actually creating space to do so. I can't remember if we talked about this in our last episode together, but one of the things we do at the High Tech High Graduate School of Education is have a session called Undiscussables, where people bring topics that are typically taboo, that you wouldn't, like salary or what happens when grants are sunsetting, things
Mhm.
that you wouldn't necessarily, you talk about it on the side or like, in
Mhm.
back rooms, but we're like, no, because the health of an organization, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said the health of an organization
Mhm.
can be determined by the number of undiscussables. So you really want to minimize those. So even being in a space and creating an environment where like, hey, we're going to talk about the things that are uncomfortable so that we can opt into that. We have to be able to exercise that muscle. But I think a lot of those conversations and that avoidance takes place because people do not have that in their practice. They do not know how to engage in generative conflict.
Yeah, I see that here also. We're the OMZL Healing Sanctuary. That is the name of our organization. And as you could imagine, people come and go all the time. They're gun ho, and then they disappear, like, for whatever
Mhm.
reasons. And we noticed that there were some people who they would just go, and then you'd be like, oh, they, oh, I'm busy, and they'll be like, what happened? I thought we was, we're gonna fly first class and we're gonna change the world. What happened? And what I started realizing is sometimes I may say something, and that they didn't like, or they saw something they didn't agree with, and then they just go. Why not talk about it? Why couldn't we just come to the table and just it's hey, maybe I sometimes I talk so much that sometimes I say something that might be offensive or something. I don't think so, but if it is, man, Michelle, I'm the first one to say I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Exactly,
I didn't
exactly.
mean it like that. Like, let's keep going.
Yes, and they're
Yeah,
robbing you of that ability to learn from whatever it is. So 2
yeah.
things are happening, right? You're not learning if you did something or what you did to cause some sort of, like, pain point for them, but they're also leaving it open for future people to be hurt in the same way. Because if
Mm,
the behavior isn't corrected, if whatever was done, like if I do something and they don't tell me, hey, this was harmful to me, well, then
mm.
I'm going to probably keep doing that until
Right,
someone brings it to my attention. So
right, right,
it's
right.
actually it's a gift for us to get feedback that is
Mm.
helpful and constructive
Yeah.
to,
Mm,
and I never say feedback is a gift. I say feedback is information. And so give me
mm.
the information, and then I have the agency to, agree, disagree, or do something about it, or
Right.
engage in repair if necessary. But when you just leave and you just avoid the conversation,
Mm.
growth can't happen.
Right, right. I always think of, am I my brother's keeper? Right? You see? Yes, I am
Yes.
my brother's keeper. And
Yes.
you, yes, I'm your bro. Right? Speak up. Let's go. You know where I'm at, on what I'm doing, and all that. You don't dig it? Speak and say, hey, I don't, no, I don't appreciate that. And, okay, hey,
And
sorry.
it's okay if we disagree. Like, it is okay. The world
Yeah, right.
will not fall apart if we
Yeah,
do not
right.
see everything the same way.
Right. That's why many people believe that the society that we're in now, it's very sensitive in many areas. Like, we just can't talk about it. Like, just talk about it. What's the thing? Yeah, okay. You called me out of my name. Okay, you called me out my name, but that's not me, bro. So yeah, but I appreciate that, and I'm not that. I'm me, who I am. Like, I'm not Latino. I'm not Hispanic. I'm just me. I'm a being. That's what I am. I'm from my race is human. So right. And we make mistakes too, but that's
For
super
sure.
powerful. But then there's this other thing about the imposter syndrome too, which I often go
Mhm.
through, and many people also. So here I am, like, I'm leading people, guys. We have men's retreats, right? We have one coming up now, February 20 to the 22nd. Take them
Nice.
away. Yeah, it's powerful. Unplug them from the matrix. Take away their phone. This is a big one. No, these phones are like heroin. You already know. So, and then there's workshops. We go hiking. We go cold water plunging. It's a water purification ceremony to strip away all the negative energy, in order to step into the newness. Like, it's super powerful.
I told you need
And
these for women.
yeah, I know, I know. My wife's working on it. Trust me. Yeah, she's doing
Yeah,
it. She's
I'll
doing it.
tell
She's
her
doing it.
we can collab on this
Yes,
easy. But anyway,
yeah,
go
for
ahead, go
easy.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So, but then, sometimes I have this voice, the voice, the one creeping in. You think it's you, but it's just a voice trying to tell you, oh, you ain't that. Now, you ain't. Now, what about that thing you did? And then I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm like, and it's somewhere in my head, it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did do that thing, and start agreeing, So, how about yourself? Here you are. You're clearly leading. Even some of your accomplishments alone speak for itself. But then now you're stepping in the room, and you're helping with other people as well, right? So you taking that position of leadership, with collaboration and stuff. But how does that work for you? I'm sure that little voice comes up every now and then.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I call it my inner critic. Like that's what often my inner critic is loud and she's mean and she's repetitive. So of course those thoughts and those limiting beliefs, I've been dealing with that my entire life. And I actually have a podcast episode about it where it's called Liberate. Well, the podcast episode is called Titanium, and it's about
Mm.
liberating your inner queen or king. So having the ability to, instead of your inner critic being the loudest voice, how can your inner queen or inner king or whatever you want to name it be
Mhm.
a louder voice? And because my inner critic is so strong, I think we talked last time about my Get Your Mind Right playlist, that it's just all of these songs and affirmations that
Mhm.
when my inner critic is loud, I can put that on and come back to myself, my essence, my true self, who
Mhm.
is, a courageous, risk-taking, trusting leader. Like that is what I
Mhm.
want to come back to. So I do that, of course, meditation, mindfulness, praying, movement, just I have a host of different things that support me in talking back to that inner critic and talking back to that imposter syndrome. I have
Mhm.
mantras that I've created. Like, I know, love, and trust myself is something I often say. Like, I know, love, and trust myself. So it has like body movement to it as well,
Yes,
just so that
beautiful.
it's actually signaling to my nervous system as well that
Mm.
I'm okay, that I'm capable. So different things will work for different people. I always invite people to try out one way. Maybe it's breathing for you. Maybe it's going on a walk for you. Maybe it's doing something that you do feel super competent in. And
Mm.
that reminds you of your badassery. Maybe it's reflecting on all the ways that you have overcome or done things that you thought were hard and being able to trust your track record.
Mm. Yes, yes. It makes me think of a couple of weeks back, man. I was out in a run. I'm out there at 4:30 in the morning. Nobody's out there,
Oh,
and I'm like, oh, and then here comes the critter. He sneaks in, like you don't even see him. He just appears like smoke. And then he's there and he's like, oh, remember that thing you did? Remember that? Oh, you ain't that thing you think you are, bro. No, but meanwhile, the motivation is here in my ears, right? And I'm getting all the compilations, Les Brown and all these big players. I'm like, yeah. But here he is, like talking about, oh, you ain't that, no that. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Yesterday I was out here. It was like 20 degrees colder. My hands were free. I completed my run. I got the kids. I built this other thing. And, and I own that, man. I own it.
yeah, you trust your
Yeah.
track
We
record.
have to go back to the. We have to. Yes.
Love that. You running is just at
Mm.
4:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's very little that I would get up at 4:30 to do.
Yeah.
Running is not one of the things.
Yeah, it's just in the mind. It's the mind. That's really what I'm training. Some people think, oh, my body. It's not the body. It's the mind. Because the mind is the one that's telling you where you going, who you running from, and where you running to. Like, who's
Yeah, all the
chasing you, and like, yeah, it's cold outside. Like, we live here in North Bergen, New Jersey. It's cold, man. It's New York City. It's 20 minutes right outside,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Manhattan is like it's cold here. Like right now, we just experienced this freeze and blizzard. The snow's there. It's been there for a long time. It'll be there for longer. But it's just my mind that's telling me, stay. Nah, you don't gotta do that. but I'm training my mind, right? Just
which
like
is
you,
beautiful. Yeah.
just like yourself. It's like when I say go, we go. Not when you say whoever that is. No, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna pass out. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. It's suffering. Yeah, I know. I know it's suffering. Yeah, but
'Cause I can dance for hours because of that mindset, right? Of just like, no,
yeah,
you
yeah,
want this, you got this. Yes, it's hard. And I really appreciate that you saying the what are you running from? What are you running to? And those ways that those voices come in. Because even before this podcast, even before we got on today, I there was like a flittering little that voice, was just like, who are you to be talking to people about? You
mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then,
you do.
but I was quickly, I mean, thank goodness because I have all these tools. I was quickly like, no,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a purpose. I have things to share. I know the conversation with Omar. We're going to get into something or many things that will be helpful to someone. And so let's get into it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's just that one thing you may say that just helps somebody and get them out of that funk or depression or you man, we listen, some of the things that we do, we'll never know who we touch. Never. No, we'll never know. We may know some people to come, hey, I appreciate that thing you did. And oh, thank you, brother, sister. That's what's up. That's what I'm here. That's my calling. That's not what I do. It's who I am. Right.
Mhm.
See, because
Mhm.
I have, like some people say, all these things you do and your dream, follow your dream. I'm like, wait a minute, this might not be my dream here. Like, this is, I feel, my higher power, God, whatever name you want to put, is telling me to do these things to help
Mhm.
people. Yeah, I have my own ones too. Like, I want to write many books and push my body, run long 200 miles, and that's my dream. You see, I want to accomplish that, but these other things, it's a calling. So, how about yourself? Do you feel that? And I know you do. But yeah, tell me a bit about that.
Uh, 100%. A calling. It's a being for me. Like every part of it. Like we were talking about earlier, growing up with all of that internalized oppression, that self doubt, those limiting beliefs, the not enoughness. I did not know that it was preparing me for being able to support other people who are in similar experiences. And because for me, it's an ongoing battle that allows my relatability to not diminish. Because it's not like I've arrived at some peaceful place where I have no more anxiety, no more worries. I no longer care what people think about me. It's all bacon and rainbows. Like that is not true. Like I get more liberated every single
Bacon and rainbows. I love that.
day. But I get more liberated every single day, and liberation work is
Mm,
lifetime work. So I'm going to be on this journey until I pass on. And then the thing that God is blessing me with is a gift to be able to support people who are also on this journey because there are lessons I've learned, just like you have. There are
mm,
approaches I've learned. There are systems that I've designed. There are things I've picked up along the way that I know can be supportive to people. Like I know it in my bones. That's
yeah.
part of the reason why I'm launching the Living for Liberation League. I can't remember if I told you about this, but the Living for Liberation League, it's for people who are ready to align their work, their worth, right? WORTH and WORK, and
Mm,
wellness with liberation. So that worth, work,
mm,
and wellness with liberation. How can we bring those into alignment? So it's a blend
mm,
of workshops, coaching, life work, retreat. And it's really about that celebration and community. So we can leave things in the show notes. And I'm also going to be doing a series of super affordable freedom dreaming workshops because I want to support people toward taking the first step toward living for liberation. So, yes, it is a calling, a being, it is all the things.
yeah, yeah. Here at the Omzia Healing Sanctuary, we do stand by a few pillars, and the first one is your higher power.
Mm.
Do you recognize that there's something bigger outside of you? Do you? And if you do, how do you approach it? What is it that you do? Are you lighting a candle or an incense or mantras or is there nothing? Maybe we can talk about that and see.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that I got all the answers, never that, but I have some true and tested things that have worked for me. Try them on, they might work for you.
exactly. And it's that exploration, right? Even in liberation coaching, so much of it is I'm just asking questions. And people are self-sourcing, like, we know the answers are within people, and
Mm.
it's they just need that support of, like, questions, little nudging to help bring that out of them, right? So it's
Mm.
I love that you said it's not like we have all the answers, because we definitely don't,
Right.
but I believe that we have the ability to, like, coach and facilitate people to get there, so, like, we're kind of like these catalysts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This coaching, life coaching, right? This is a new
Yeah,
buzzword, right? Because there's all these words going around, but there's nothing new under the sun. These things have been going. There was the elder in the village, and he might have not have been so crusty old, but he was just an older person, right? With more experience. That's all.
exactly.
It's like there's some things we can't get around. I'm a certain age, and you are of a younger age. I'm not better than you or nothing, but I've been around the block a few times and I've been in some really dark places. So if you're talking with me is because you feel that too and there's pain, and let's talk about it, man. I don't know. Let's figure it out. We can do it. And
Yeah, because, like, the whether you wanna call it the enemy or, like, oppression or whatever, wants to make people feel like they are alone and they're in isolation,
mhm,
and when we know we thrive in community, so it's really the work you're doing at your men's retreats, right? The work that I'm doing, it is about that
mhm,
communal
mhm.
work together, that collaboration, right? That collective vitality of togetherness that is
Mhm.
so beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. Humans are pack animals. We thrive better when we run together. That's it. We
Mhm.
don't we don't do well alone. We don't. It's not as easy or not as serving us well like that. We like to be together and we thrive together. And with all the cell phone and internet, like they go, oh, we're closer. No, we really, we're not really closer. With people don't even call me anymore. They text me. They ask me, "Can I call you now?" Just call. People might pick up the phone. Oh my god. Oh man. And then the texting. With somebody with like 20 minutes, I'm like, bro, could you just call
Let's
me?
just talk, let's
Oh
just
my god.
talk.
Yeah, it's terrible. But perhaps how do you see it? Like when you're working in groups, and I know there's these breakout rooms or different cells that are what's the word I'm looking for? Throwing around ideas and think tank. That's the word I was, and these questions and stuff like that. And how does that work with you? And how do you help people in this area?
If they have questions about what.
Like when you're working with people, and you mentioned that you're working with people in groups, and they have questions, and we're just asking questions. So how do you help them perhaps draw out a bit of that openness, and so people can just like put the walls down, and just open up more.
Yeah, it will depend on the group, but let's say in a lot of the education spaces, we open everything with circle, where we just check in as humans before anything else, right? So it starts with some breath work and then some sort of human connection prompt. One of my favorites that I use often, so if anyone's ever been in a session with me, is how is love showing up in your life right now? And it can be a way that you are giving love or receiving love, and it doesn't even need to be romantic love. It could be love of a higher power, love of nature, it could be self-love. But whatever the prompt is just before we jump into work or thinking about school and grades and all those things, how are we connecting as humans? And what we noticed when we started it, even at our own organization several years ago, that is what is building relational trust. And relational trust is foundational for psychological safety. And psychological safety is necessary to have generative conflict, right? All of these things build on one another, but they take time and intentionality to integrate right into an institution or an organization that doesn't have it already. So those are some of the ways that I go about creating those structures and the new ways of being for folks. And then in coaching, it's really just when they come in for liberation coaching, which is one on one, it's them saying the topic, their what outcome they would like for the session. And then me asking questions and listening intently and follow up questions. But what is so beautiful is when they have like I said before, the answers are in there. They just need that community, that support to help pull it out. And I always ask at the end of a session, what do you want to celebrate about yourself in this session? Because I also want them to realize like they have the capacity and like be able to see those qualities that they already have within them so they can continue to build on that,
Mm,
because we're not coming from deficit spaces. Like there's so much abundance, but we've just been bombarded with so many messages that
mm.
make us think we're at deficits or there is scarcity, and that's what is driving us versus being from a state of abundance. I don't
Right.
even know if I answered your question, Omar, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, no doubt. For sure, for sure. And Les Brown, right? Here he is again. I remember I had learned from him that we get something like 50 or 70,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are telling us these negative things.
yes.
I was like, when I started looking it up, I was like, wow, like people are paying attention and to see like writing your thoughts down every day to show that there is proof. And most of the signals that we're getting too in public, like from the bus passing by or the internet or the magazines, they're telling us we're not white enough, or we're not black enough, we're not tall enough, we're not smart enough, we're not brown enough, we're not we're just not enough. And when we have everything that we need, like you said,
Yeah,
everything's there.
it's all there. And I know, like, we tossed around one of the questions we tossed around was, what when have you outgrown the very system that gave you credibility? And it connects to this sort of enoughness, because people will seek some sort of credibility to feel that sensation of enoughness. And I was thinking about that because I honestly don't think any credibility is omnipresent. Like credibility is contextual. I can I have 5 degrees, right? So in academic spaces, I have gained credibility. People may listen to me more, yada yada yada. But I can go to other spaces in different communities that could give two craps about any of the degrees that I have, or that I wrote a book, or that I have a podcast. They don't care. And in those spaces, I have zero credibility because the context is different. What they consider credible is different. So I'm at a point in my life where connection is much more important to me than credibility.
Right,
When
right.
I can enter a space and connect with the human beings in the space authentically, that connection is what builds trust, that relational trust that we're talking about. That connection can, of course, lead to credibility, but it's the connection that matters most. And I've met people who are super credible, that they were like like education heroes,
Mm,
and I've met some of them and they did not treat me well. They were not kind. And so that disrupted the connection. Like, I will still, of course, like their resources are great, their books are great, the content's great. But I remember after that happened a couple of times, I was like, I don't care how big I get, God, I
mm,
will never make someone feel the way that that person made me feel just because they have all this credibility, right? And this
right.
notoriety. To me, it's
Mm,
about the connection with people.
mhm,
And I feel that in you as well. Like you really take time to connect to your guests, to the people that you serve, because
mm.
you realize the importance of that.
Right. I know. Me and you, that's why we vibe, like they say, so well, because I know you have all of these things on paper, that the resume that looks beautiful and some accolades and these accomplishments and all that, but you really don't come off like none of that. I tell you right now.
Thank you.
And I've seen people with not even half as much, and they walking around like, "Hey, excuse me, you're in my way." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, man, I'm here." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it should be like that, because all of those things, they really don't matter. But what matters, like you are alluding to about the trust, that's a
Mhm.
big thing here. It's trust. People trust. That's one of the first things that I thank them when we're in groups and they come. I have something, some event, and they sit down. That's the first thing I say. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me.
Oh,
You're,
I
you're,
love
you're trusting, yeah. You're trusting that what I say that I'm going to provide right now is that thing. You trusting that, and you
that.
trust that this space is a safe space,
Mm.
that I wouldn't betray you. And Like I could tell you all kinds of stories. And oh, some guys have let out some things in some of these groups. I don't know if I shared that with you, but there was this one brother. I always think of him. Man, he let out this deep information that it was so dark, like it felt like he sucked out all the air from the room. It was that deep. I was like, oh, I thought I had it rough coming up, like, but we were there for him and held him up and he let it out and cried and we were on him and everything. And he thanked me so much, man. Thank you. I was
Mm.
walking around with that all these years and he trusted us. He trusted us, like just to let it out, just
What
deep.
an honor
Mm,
too that
mm,
you get to shepherd
yeah,
and guide and hold space
mm,
for that becoming and that
yeah,
unraveling in some ways, but
yeah,
becoming. Oh,
yeah,
that's so
yeah.
beautiful.
You can't buy that. You can't smoke it. You can't shoot it. You can't snort it. Like just to
Different
be,
kind of high.
except for yeah, I'm telling you, just to be part of somebody's journey, like that's
Mhm.
wow, man. You can't get that nowhere. You can. You could buy all kind of nice stuff, and that's nice, and they'll make you happy a little bit. They're nice. I
Yeah.
like nice things, but being part of someone's journey and man, if I had a nickel for every time somebody come to me like you changed my life, man.
Oh,
Thank you. And I'm like, bro, it's you, man. It's you. You're the one. You put in the work, right? And I don't
yeah.
know if I told you this one, but what we like to say is that we're ushers in the movie theater, right? We're just helping you get to your seat without knocking somebody's popcorn over. That's
I
it.
love that.
Why? Because the movie's yours. It's your movie. It's not my movie, man.
Yes,
Like,
you are the leading role.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to make up some T-shirts on that one for real, because it's your movie.
Yeah, I used to have a workshop called "How to Become the Leading Lady of Your Own Life." So
Mm,
we have
that's
so
it.
much alignment, Omar. It's
Yeah, yeah, we
ridiculous.
do. We do. But I do tell people too that for me, I'm the star of my own movie. Man, and there's a soundtrack playing in the background too. Like I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the editor guy. Like this is me. So
Yes,
sometimes, yeah, we go through rough patches and all that. I know, but that I'm aware of it. See, that's another pillar that we stand on too. Are you self-aware?
self-awareness, right?
Know
That's so
thyself. Know
key.
thyself. Right.
Yeah, and that self-awareness and the ability. I was doing a session with Momentum Education and at receiving, not, because I was going through their program, and one of the things they talk about is authoring every moment of your life. So it's very similar. Like we get to write the screenplay to our own lives. And it doesn't need to be this long screenplay. We can author this moment and the next moment and the next moment. And we get to
Mm,
re-author some things that maybe we didn't write. We get to revise. And that
mm,
was that was a key. Just having it named in that way was super helpful for me. So I hope it's helpful to some listeners of like, wait, I do have the power, the agency to author every moment of my life. And so
mm,
how do I want to be? How do I want to show up for myself, for other people, for the environment? Like all of those things. It's just it was
mm.
super helpful.
That's great. Some other things too that help me also are my habits and rituals, right? You could put
Mm.
whatever name you want on them, but perhaps you could tell me a little bit about yours. How does it look in the life of Dr. Michelle? Like wake up and the butterflies come on you and and lift you up and they fly you
Yes,
away.
they
Like
make my bed. It's
yeah.
wonderful. Um, well, it starts with meditation, and I'm because meditation is and mindfulness is something I struggle with. I am not one of
Mm,
those. I have friends who can meditate for 30 minutes, an hour, multiple hours. I am not there yet. Mine is just a few minutes, but just meditation and gratitude. Just starting my day with gratitude before I like jump to my phone or anything. And so after that meditation and prayer, then it is actually 2 hours of working on my company before I work on my full-time job. So right now I work full-time in my company and full-time at High Tech High. So, and then the gym is a part of my routine every day, some form of working out. I have personal trainers. I believe to do this work, liberatory work, anytime you're fighting against oppression, we need to be well, we need to be healthy, and I plan on living to be 107 because my great grandma lived to 105 and I want to
That's
beat
what's
her.
up. Yeah.
So I take care of my body in that way. And then I also do things to feed my soul. And a lot of that has to do with social, like going, spending time with friends. I'm a member of a winery, even though I really don't like to drink because I don't feel well after. So I really just go for the socialization of every weekend that I'm not traveling. I'll be at Sunshine Mountain Vineyard, just in community with people. I love dancing, as you know. So this Friday night, I will be dancing salsa and bachata at this Valentine's event, even though I don't have a Valentine. So I think of it in three parts, though. And I just was on a different podcast talking about this actually, mind, body, soul. Like, what are routines and rituals that are going to support the growth and health of my mind? And so I read a lot, I listen to podcasts, of course, and what is going to really enrich and nurture my body, right? So that's working out, drinking water, vitamins, all the things, and then my soul. And my soul, it's typically for me, it's being with other human beings that I love and care about, doing something that I love. So I don't think any ritual routine is cookie cutter. So I always invite listeners to just think about, oh, how do I want to feed and keep my mind healthy, my body healthy, and my soul healthy? And my mantra for this year is that if it doesn't have to do with health creation or wealth creation this year, it is not getting my energy. I just don't have time for the drama and the trauma. So
That's what's
health
up.
creation, wealth
Yeah.
creation.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Don't be bringing that. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to
Don't
get
do
a haircut in front of everybody.
it.
Don't bring it. Yeah. I did hear about this story one time. It was a short one, and the story went that the gentleman put his slippers underneath his bed. So every time he got out of bed in the morning, he would go down to his knees to get the slippers and pray. That would,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
started right. I
I
like
said,
to pray
wow,
laying
that's a
down in
good
my
one.
Tempur-Pedic, but that is one method as
Yeah, yeah, but it's always that action of like
well.
humbleness,
Yeah.
of like, oh, okay, now's the time to higher power. Okay,
Mhm.
God, thank you. I have another chance to do it again. Thank you.
Again, I know,
Yes.
like, we're not days are not promised, so it's like every day my dad always talks about, like, "I'm still here
Mm,
for what?" Right? So every day that we wake up and
mm,
we realize we're still here, like, God
mhm,
has
mhm,
granted us
mhm,
life,
right.
another day.
Mhm.
What for? What now? What do we do with that gift of life?
Yes,
Because
yes.
not everybody gets it.
Right, right, yes, and then these rituals too. There's one another thing that we push. Also, I actually recently made a blueprint. It's about 17 modules that I practice, and I tell people, try them on like shoes. If they fit you, then go run with it, man. If not, then
Yeah.
push it to the side. And
I'm gonna need a
people
copy of that,
I was
Omar.
just gonna say that. I was you see, you took it out of my mouth. So people receive it when they sign up for the newsletter, when they go to the website, or someone like yourself I share with, and I'm definitely gonna send it to you. I'd love to hear your feedback on some of these things. And I think they're important. Like when I rise, I drink 16 or 17 ounces of room temperature water with lemon and salt.
Mm.
That's my first action of what I'm taking into my temple, right? Because we're sitting in a Ferrari. This is the high performance vehicle that we are. We have to treat it like that, right? That's why you
Yes.
go to the gym. You take the car out for a run. And that's like going, having a Ferrari and sitting in it, turning it on, and then sitting there. It's like, no, you're in command. You're the driver. Let's go. Take it, turn it for spin, do some donuts and yeah,
Yeah.
and all that.
Wait, tell me about the lemon and salt. What does that do?
That
How does
helps
that
it helps to alkaline your body because
okay.
we're too acidic and we're coming out of a fasting state. So Dr. Sebi, I don't know if I mentioned to him about him. He passed on too, but he helped a lot of people, and But that was one of the things that I learned from him. Also, was that to help to alkaline your body with too acidic, and 85 or 95% of all sicknesses come from inflammation. That comes from the foods we eat. So CMOS is a great thing to
Oh,
take
yeah,
in.
definitely heard of that.
That's right,
How much
CMOS.
salt are you putting in the c 'cause I'm gonna do this as soon as
Yes,
we're off the call.
yes. So about so you get a spoon, like a teaspoon, and then just the tip of it only.
Okay,
That's it. That's it. And some sea
lemon.
salt with lemon, with
Okay,
room temperature water. Hydrate your body,
okay.
alkaline. Then you can go. I love green tea.
Mhm.
Coffee I like occasionally, but it's super acidic. You see, we want to try to get away from the acidity.
Got it.
Plus, they bombard it with tons of pesticides too. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm
cacao
gonna
is a great alternative also.
okay, okay, alright, I can't wait to because I love a list. I love
Yeah.
a list. I love routines
Yeah.
and rituals,
Okay.
so
I'm gonna
I
send it
can't
to
wait.
you. I'd love to hear your
Okay.
feedback on it. I poured my essence into it. It wasn't AI or nothing. No, this is me hand putting it in and creating this.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful lead magnet to your just getting on business for a second. That's a powerful lead magnet to get
Yeah.
people to do
Thank
the
you.
newsletter, so that's beautiful.
Exactly. I feel so too. Like, because before I was just promising, and then I didn't come up with anything. I was like, man, I got to get around to putting something down. So I was like, no, no, I got to, and I sat down and I just started working on it, working it, and I was like, yes, finally, sent it to some of my inner circle. Right.
Uh-huh.
'Cause that's another thing too. You should have an inner circle. Not everybody comes in this close, and no, because they have good intentions, but they will bring you down. That's just how humans
So
are,
true.
crabs in a basket. You can watch
Mhm,
yourself.
mhm.
But once you have those inner circle you trust, you share those intimate things. Like, yeah, I got this program. What do you think, man?
Yeah, and get feedback. I love that.
How
Yeah,
about
it's
you?
so
Tell me
important.
about your inner circle, and how
Ah.
do you go to them, and yeah, how's it work for you?
I am so blessed with incredible women who play all the roles in my life. There are some who can play every role, and then there are some who they're specific, like go-tos for when I'm dealing with this, she is my person. When I'm dealing with this, she is my person. My sister-in-law, who I call my sister because we're super close, she is 100% my go-to for all of the things. Even
Mm,
like she's the one you avoid when you because she is a truth teller and she
mm,
can put a
love
mirror to
it.
your face. And if I just got out of a relationship where somebody was cheating on me, and if I had listened to her in the beginning, because she was she's
Mm.
always right. That's super annoying too about all
Yeah.
these when it comes to relationships. Like I've got the rest of my life is pretty figured out, but relationships, Omar, I just need some prayer. But anyway, she knew, and so did my friends and family just called it, and I'm like, well, because as coaches, we have belief in people, so
Right,
like
right. Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
could
yeah,
fulfill his potential, and if I with my support, he's
yeah, yeah.
and she's like, "No, he's not. He's going to drain you and suck the
Yeah,
energy out of you." And
right.
and she was
Okay.
100% right. So I definitely have been
That's
blessed with
great.
so many people,
That's
or
great.
I wouldn't say so many, but a
Mm.
quality circle of trust, right? That is
Yep.
everything. And my
I
dad is a part of that circle. We are very
mm,
close. My mom was my best friend, and my dad has just done an incredible job of. He obviously
ah,
cannot replace my mom, but like we have grown even closer as a result of her passing, and he's just shown up in so many ways. Texted me out of the
mm,
blue to just say that he loves me, and like sending
man.
emojis or sending like an inspirational like card, and or sending me a sermon. Bishop Bronner is both of our favorite
It's good
um,
stuff. Good.
preachers, and he'll just like, "Oh, this sermon it totally applies to what you're going through right now. Listen to
Mm,
it." So I am grateful. The only I would say nothing is missing in my life, but yes, I do want to. When you talk about you and your wife and doing things together, and working together and supporting people together, that is the type of partnership that I am believing God for. So I'm just putting it out there. This is not an all call to your listeners.
yeah.
This is just us talking like how we talk.
Calling all men. Like, whoa, hold on. Wait a minute.
Turn
Whoa,
into a
whoa, whoa. It's
different
not like that.
podcast.
Yeah, it's not that part. It's next week, right? Wow, first I'll say not everything is what it looks like. I'll just leave that alone, right? Because, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? That's why the book was so popular, because it's true.
Yeah.
We have different energies and stuff like that. So, but when we're in those circles, I will say that when we're in the circles, whatever disagreements we may have is gone. Oh no,
Mm,
it melts like gone, and we're just there focused, and it's love,
yeah.
and we're helping people, man. This is our mission. We know our calling. We are clear on that. Yeah, we don't gotta ask. You don't have to ask. We already know. Yeah,
That's
just
beautiful.
recently brother wanted to come, and she said, oh, the husband wants to come, and I was like, no honey, we're going on vacation. We don't have no time, sorry, like that. And then she went back, told him, and they went, oh, okay, but they're leaving out of the country like in 1 or 2 days. I was like, what? Send him tonight, bring him tonight. I want
Mm,
him here. Let's go. I need him
mhm.
here. And he came. And yeah, we helped the
Wow.
brother.
See,
Oh
yeah,
man.
that's teamwork right there.
Yes. And then there's another thing I wanted to mention also about you mentioned about some of the preachers and these other sermons and things like that. And we always emphasize about the message. Take the message. Some people get caught up in the messenger. It's like, no, man, don't, like the guy,
Yeah.
there's many guys that I like. Oh, they're from all different background, Osho, and you see, if you know anything
Mhm.
about Osho, he was getting high, he was doing drugs and all that, but he wrote some great stuff, and he had, there's a great message. Take what serves you.
Yeah, that
That's
the content, yeah, it's not always the messenger, but what can you get from that? That's why I remember one time I was doing a workshop and it was inspired by a Bishop Bronner sermon called Protect Your Peace. And I mentioned that briefly, like in the opening, like, oh, this was inspired by this book and this sermon. And one person just went just irate in the feedback that I said the word sermon, and it was that you shouldn't be bringing church, but, like,
it's
I
like,
wasn't
yeah,
preaching, I was
right,
just all I
right,
said
yeah,
was, "This
yeah.
workshop was inspired by this
Mm,
sermon and this
mm,
book," and that was enough
mm,
to, like, set
yeah,
someone off, and it's like, "Wow, you missed that whole workshop on how to set,
yeah.
communicate, and honor your
Mhm,
boundaries because
yeah.
you were so hung up on the fact
Yeah,
that,
yeah. I listen. That's
like."
why it's like politics and religion. And I was doing this other podcast with another brother called The Clarity Code, and we did about 4 episodes on belief systems and religions and how many of these things are saying the same thing, and there's only one source, and there's different. Oh man, I got some feedback. People like I never heard from them. They now they say, oh man, you can't say that. Come on, it's like, oh man, it's just the message. Whatever serves you well. Take
Yeah,
it, take it.
yeah,
Um,
I hope
I
everybody got some of our message today,
They sure
despite
did. They sure did. I
the
know they did, whether they
messenger.
like it or not, right? Okay, so we're coming up on the hour. Why don't you tell us where people can find you if they want to talk with you and chat with you, pick your brain or contact you and all that good stuff?
Yes, please follow me at Living for Liberation. There are underscores in between each word, so at living underscore for underscore liberation. That's the best way to contact me. But I would love for you to sign up for my Liberation Love Letter and get on the interest list for the Living for Liberation League. I'm telling you, this program is going to get you free and aligned. And then we'll just put everything else in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with so many of you. And Omar, I can't wait for us to do something in
Oh,
person together. I know that there is a collaboration just waiting to happen. So I'm so grateful for you inviting me, not one time, but two times to be in community with you and your listeners. I just am wishing you and praying the best for you and
thank you.
ZL in
Thank you.
general.
Thank you. Thank you. You're speaking over me. Blessing, sister. Thank you. I'm emotional. Trust me. My eyes are just like, because I see it. I see it. It's all unfolding. This is, it's all here. Everything is there, by the way, too. And some people that are losing hope and helplessness, it's everything's there.
There.
Sometimes we have to go through the dark. Yes, the 40 days and nights in the wilderness. Yes. And then we
Mhm.
rise up and we come back with all of these things. So hold on, my brother. Hold on, my sister. Yes,
Yes,
we're
yes.
here. We're here.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right. So thank you. Stay right there, sister, so we could talk behind stage. For those tapping in, thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you big time. Peace and love.